Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy, my channel's Finding Value, and I call this presentation The Others. I kind of grouped in some ones that I thought were good opportunities. I'm not really constrained to any sector. Some of these are outside of the commodity sector. I did rotate some money. I took some of my rare earth REMX. I had some really good gains in that REMX. I put it into a free ride for those gains to ride, which was a good amount of money. And I'm deploying the money into TAN. That is a solar ETF, TAN. REMX is exhibiting a rising wedge pattern. I can show you what that looks like, where we could break to the downside. Remember, I put it into a free ride, and I had a lot of money in this thing. So I'm having a substantial amount of money ride in this because I had about a 30% profit in it. So I'm letting a good chunk of money. I'm putting that big chunk in another one because we have a rising wedge. So I'm letting the money ride. And I'm putting the other one in what I think is a very good opportunity, and it's about to break. I'll show you what the pattern looks like. So I call this The Others, and I'll let you know what I'm doing. REMX is this guy on the left in the circle here. I've got the circle signaling kind of what that pattern looks like. And then we moved on higher. I cost averaged into this right below this pattern break. I was in the mid 80s, and I rode it all the way up to $111 or something. And then I noticed that we had a rising wedge here. Not that I didn't draw it in. I'll show you on another chart what that looks like. But this pattern here is what gets me intrigued, because the same pattern is basically being scribed out in TAN, a solar one. Now, I said before in other video clips on the channel that I want some exposure to solar. And I was waiting for an opportunity to jump on not just the rare earths, which I already did. I also want to build a position in TAN. And what I'm doing is I'm using a good amount of money, to me at least. I'm investing in these, riding it higher until the pattern looks like it might potentially be a higher risk hold. This is greatly above its 200-day and 50-day. And I said, you know what? I'll put it into a free ride because I have a good amount of money, and I'm going to build another position in TAN. So this pattern, if you look at the pattern to the T, is being scribed out to the T almost on this side. We also broke its downtrend line. This broke the trend line here, and it moved and rocketed higher. I'm looking for a similar opportunity here to rocket higher. And what I'm doing, my strategy here, is I have a lump of money that I am using for short-term trading. And again, I don't recommend short-term trading, but what I'm doing is I'm building positions. I'm building a position in REMX, which I already built. And then I'm building another position in TAN to get exposure into what I think are two very good areas, rare earth metals and solar. And I know a lot of people aren't pro-solar, and I can't say that solar is necessarily going to be, I don't think it's ready yet, but money is flowing into it, and it is undeniably flowing into it. And if they're going to do stimulus packages and they're going to flow a bunch of money at it, trillions with a T at it, I think that it's worth to gain some exposure to it. So I am gaining exposure to it through a method that I'm going to put free rides into. And I have a good chunk of my of seed money, so to speak, to ride these patterns higher and to leave my winnings back. And I'm trying to establish good-sized positions in them. Now, REMX, this is what I was talking about, a rising wedge pattern that I'm looking out for. I don't know, it could break to the upside. I just said, you know what? I have an opportunity that's sitting there. I see kind of a rising wedge pattern that's forming, which usually means it wants to break to the downside and rest a little bit. So what I'm doing is I took my original money out, left my profits all to ride, and I'm going to put it into TAN, which is this guy. And this pattern is scribing out kind of the downtrend broke, to the upside. We've got bullish piercing, bullish engulfing here to signal a move higher. We're kind of chopping sideways here. We came up, and I think this could potentially move on higher. So this is one that I've been looking at. Here's the downtrend line break, and this is the pattern. This pattern here, scribed out, is a very similar pattern to this pattern here that's scribing out. It's just all scrunched up together over here. It's the same type of patterns going on. And I think we'll probably launch here at any second. So I put a good chunk in here. Another one, Rare Earth Metals, MP Materials Corp. This is on my radar. We kind of got this consolidation period going on. If you notice, the movements here are the same as the movements here. It's the same pattern and the same type of movements all happening. And I think we're going to break to the upside of this pattern here. I'm watching it. I'm going to build a position here, ride it higher, and put it into a free ride. That's my strategy right here. Another one, Coinbase Global. We have this resistance line coming up. I've been watching this guy. I dipped a little bit of money into it. Yes, I'm not a pro cryptocurrency person, but if we're going to have a mania, I'm going to bet with the people who are making money on it. These guys are making a whole bunch of money on it. And I'm going to ride this a little bit higher, put it into a free ride, let it ride. So that's one I'm riding. Another one, HDB Bank, that I've been watching. We're right here breaking to the upside of its downtrend. This thing looks pretty good. I do have some money in it to ride it higher. IBN broke to the upside of this pattern. I've shown this before. I have some money riding in it, and I'm riding it higher and going to put it eventually into a free ride after a 30-40% gain or whatever it ends up being. EEM, another, I'm looking at a couple of ETFs, and we're moving on sideways. I see the pattern that's developing here. I'd like to see this move higher, break this downtrend, and I'm continuing to add into EEM over time. Global Copper Miners, I'm watching this guy as well. It's got that same type of pattern that it's scribing out as some of these other ones, this kind of humps. This guy's got the hump that broke to the upside. This has got that hump. This guy's got the hump here. So I'm looking for moves to the upsides on some of these. But COPX doesn't look too bad, breaking its downtrend. OIH is still in a downtrend here. We have not broken anything. I still see lots of big down candlesticks all through here, which means we still could have a little bit more downside. I want to see the buyer step in first. XLE, same thing. Moving sideways. Kind of in a consolidation pattern right now. I think it still has a little bit longer to go. URNM is still scribing out a consolidation pattern. I've talked about this before. Coming on down. Two big up days, and then the sideways movement. I think we have a little bit more sideways action before moving higher on URNM. NASDAQ Composite, this thing's just gone, it's been going higher, higher, higher. We've got a very large distance between the 200-day and where it's at right now. Usually when you see these types of distances, that it's inevitable for it to fall back down. And I think we're close. Same with SPX. So those two are very, very far up there. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to build another portfolio with some money. And I'm trying to trade kind of in and out. And I'm kind of trying to keep my toes in different areas to diversify. And I'm trying to build positions in some of these ETFs. ETFs being URNM, REMX, TAN, trying to get some more like OIH, energy service companies, really get more of an ETF portfolio built in one of my portfolios that I have. I do have a good amount of money in there. I've kind of had some sitting. Some of the investments I have, I'm never going to sell until we have changing market conditions. I'm trying to build another portfolio with a bunch of ETFs and larger diversified mining companies. So I'm trying to build that and gain positions. I built an REMX position with a pretty good substantial amount. I'm building another one, hopefully in tan, and hopefully it works out here in the short term here, where we get a nice good pop higher, and then I'll let the profits ride. So that's what I'm seeing. I've got other smaller stakes kind of around some of these MP materials and some of these other ones. They're not super large stakes, but I've got a little bit in there, trying to diversify the portfolio a little bit. If you guys like this content, give me a thumbs up. Thanks for listening. This is Finding Value.